Homeowners and car owners in South Carolina are about to pay a lot more for insurance. That's according to the experts at Insurify. South Carolina is one of 15 states, according to Insurify, facing an imminent insurance crisis. But what's fueling this increase and what can we do to find the best price? So joining us this morning is Chase Gardner, a data researcher at Insurify with all the details. Chase, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's go ahead and break down this insurance crisis here in South Carolina. What are we seeing?
So at the end of 2024, the average driver paid about $2,300 for a standard full coverage policy. That was up 15% year over year. But in South Carolina, drivers are actually paying closer to $3,400 a year for that same policy. So that's more than $1,000 a year more expensive than the national average. And rates rose 29% over that same period. So significantly faster rising prices in South Carolina on top of prices in general just being a lot more expensive.
And in your research, Chase, what could be to blame for all of this?
One of those that's still lingering is actually the inflation effect, kind of coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Prices went up for pretty much every good and service, but especially motor vehicle repair and maintenance was hit especially hard, with those prices rising almost twice as fast as overall inflation on average. Accident rates are up very substantially since 2019, and they've come down a little bit in the couple of years since 2020, but not quite getting back to 2019 levels. And this is particularly impactful in South Carolina because South Carolina actually has the highest number of traffic fatalities per mile driven on the road compared to the US average. And so that definitely plays a big factor into insurance prices, with accidents there being more common and unfortunately more severe when they do happen.
Now, another possible cause could be from the state Supreme Court last year, which essentially expanded what car insurance companies have to cover, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's a particular issue in South Carolina, where essentially the state Supreme Court made a ruling that expands the financial responsibility that insurance companies have to take when it comes to certain accidents, especially accidents with uninsured motorists. And so this is good news if you're a driver and you do get into an accident. It means you will probably have more coverage. It might make that situation smoother and easier to deal with, and you might get a bigger payout. But that does also increase the financial responsibility that the insurance companies take on, and they do have to translate that in the form of higher premiums.
Now, Chase, how important is it to shop around before you renew a policy? Does it hurt to shop around to find the best deal?
It's very important. I think insurance companies do calculate risk differently. Each one has a little bit of a different formula. And so one company might actually just give you a better rate just for being you. And the only way you can find out for sure is to shop around, and at least comparing quotes from a few different companies when your coverage is about to come up is just a really good standard practice to have, and can ultimately lead you to getting definitely a better rate.
Alrighty, Chase, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, we threw a lot of information at you today, so don't worry. Before you renew your policy, we're going to be putting this interview on our website. That's WLTX.com.